Let's begin our interview. Tell us, first of all, who you are.
My name is Jayne Post. I'm the co-senior pastor of Sin City Church in Henderson, Nevada.
And that's where we're at right now. There's a big
Yes.
2024 behind you. This is, I think some people call it church in a box. We've heard that term,
Yes.
which is interesting. It's more than church in a box, though, right?
Right. It is. It's a community of people who are learning to love Jesus more every day. So our discipleship church is a Bible reading, believing church, and our mission statement is to make disciples by loving people to a new life in Christ. So hopefully people are in awareness and learning new things about Jesus. So we planted this church in 2014, which was 10 years ago.
10 years.
Which is kind of crazy.
And that's going to be kind of the focus of this, is before the church a little bit. That's what today's about. We're going to begin with, what was your religious background? And religious is not a great word. Church background, none of them are good words, I don't think, to really express.
Okay,
Faith background. How about faith background?
How about that? Okay, well, I was born in Montreal, Canada. I was baptized as an infant into the Roman Catholic Church. My grandmother, the matriarch of the family, made sure all the kids were raised Catholic. So I did go to Catholic school through elementary, raised by the Jesuit priests. I was confirmed. I had my first communion. I did all the Catholic things until high school, when I went to a kind of a secular school where all religions were included. And I found myself meeting some people that weren't Catholic. After high school, went to John Abbott College for theater. So I was always interested in theater major, and then got a call to go to California for a job. So moved. In college, I kind of ran away from faith, didn't really think about it. I mean, I did go at Christmas, you know.
And what is it you like to call that?
Well, there's
Christmas,
two things.
Easter,
Creaster, Christmas, Easter, or CEO, Christmas, Easter only.
Okay.
But those are the high holidays, so you got to make it for those. Confession was a thing I kind of ran away from. And so for about 10 years, nothing. And then I met a man who introduced me to Jesus. This was after I had gone through a tumultuous divorce, was a single mom with 2 little boys. And this man, who is now my husband, Eric Post, introduced me to Christ and explained what Christianity was. True Christianity, capital C, not religion, which was dead.
Yeah.
And I found myself on the road to Damascus, just blinding light, total transformation. As far as I was running away from God, then I started running towards him. So that started my calling in ministry, I would say. I wanted to be involved. Eric was the drama pastor at a seeker church in Sacramento, California. Actually, Elk Grove. It was called Sun Grove Community. I started writing and working in dramas that we would present during the sermons.
Oh.
So that first...
So not just at particular times of the year.
No, every week. We were there at 7:30 a.m. And I'm not a morning person, but I am now, thank the Lord.
Yeah.
But, so we would write, direct, anything from serious plays to comedies to make a point in the sermon. So the illustration was clear.
Wait, okay. This is interesting to me.
Yeah.
I didn't understand this before, I don't think. You would have worship music, I guess.
Yes.
Announcements,
Right.
then the drama, and then the sermon,
Yeah,
or intermingle?
sometimes it would be the sermon and then the drama, or the drama would set up the sermon. Kind of like how people use digital clips now, or movie clips. We would actually write plays or little sketches to go with the sermon series. So Eric didn't like them called skits. They were called
I never have
sketches.
either. No.
So for example, we did a spin on a modern day, we did a relationship series, and we did a spin on modern day Tevye and his wife Golda. One of the sketches we wrote is Tevye and Golda were at marriage counseling.
Okay.
Do you love me? Do I what? You know what I mean? So we would add our theater background, the writing and the presentation, and volunteers, great volunteers that played different parts. The biggest one we did had about 15 people in it. Many of them were smaller, just 3 to 4 people, 2 people. Eric is excellent at mime, so we had a few mimes sometimes to music.
I have to see some things.
Yes, now you
this
have
is
to
awesome.
see some things. So,
all right.
So using the gifting that I always felt I was going to be in theater, but being able to use it in the church, but it mattered more. So I was in this kind of flux of, oh my gosh, I got to grow. I got to know Jesus. So I was pretty ravenous with the Word of God. It was in Bible study. I've been in small groups since I came to faith. So that seeker church that was planted by Willow Creek, which was the whole seeker movement in the early 90s, late 80s, was the place I grew up with there for about 7 years. Then moved to Tahoe. Was at a church that was a little dry for me. I found out I had the gift of evangelism. I guess you get a gift when you come to faith.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought everybody said, do you want to accept Jesus? And they said, yes. I thought that's what you just did. You walked around doing that. Found out that was a gift. But when I found the answer to life and your soul, I just, everybody, I wanted them to know. It was so life transformative for me that that was my gift. Gifting was evangelism. Leadership in the church, I was always asked to do stuff. I was asked to lead things. Just naturally, I guess my temperament. I'm extroverted. I'm convicted and convinced and can communicate the gospel and the love of Jesus Christ. So that kind of started this whole trajectory of, okay, now I'm not Catholic, but I'm a recovering Catholic because that runs deep. What do I want to be? What do I want to do? So I always wanted to go to Bible college. And my father-in-law, who was a pastor, said, Jayne, why do you want to go to Bible college? I said, I want to know all the answers. He goes, no, that's where you learn all the questions. And I was like, oh, okay. So raising our small family up in the church, and didn't have the time then, but then after kids were in high school, after my 16-year-old was killed, that's a trauma in your life that makes you rethink everything. And prior to his death, he had filled out an application for a college called Central Christian College in Moberly, Missouri, and he was accepted, but he had passed. So I got this acceptance letter, and at that time, they had just opened a new college called Central Christian College here in Henderson. And so I was like, okay, he can't do this, but maybe I can. So I started taking one class at a time. Of course, Lincoln Christian University is who was affiliated. It was their, off-site campus here in Las Vegas, satellite. And then that grew, and so then got my degree in Bible. After that, I had the credentials. I was ordained by the former church that I was at for 15 years. Felt a call out, having grandbabies, life is changing. I wanted to finish my education. I had started at Harvard Extension School to get my master's in business and leadership.
The Harvard?
The Harvard.
Okay.
I was wanting to finish that. I just had a few classes left. The last class I had taken was how to lead and manage a nonprofit, not knowing I was going to plant a church. Okay.
Oh, so let's back up just a moment. We would talk about people having that great revelation to become called into a pastor's life. You had that. It came, as we've learned now, it came about a little different way for you. How it kind of grew, and it was always there in the back, and you just didn't know it. Now you're going to college, but you're not yet in the pastoral. You're not pastoring at a church yet, or
right?
are?
Okay, so I've worked at churches. I was head of the evangelism department, doing pastoral work. Pastor meaning shepherding people, right?
Okay.
So I did that naturally. So to have the title just kind of came over time. But as far as planting a church, I was mission minded. I would help other people start churches. But once I moved away from that former church, people started approaching me and asking me to start a church. And I was like, no, I'm a girl. We don't do that. So there's organizations, Stadia, there's a lot of them they plant. There's like lots of years of work that go into this and lots of funding. But Rhonda and I found ourselves, we had both left the previous church unbeknownst to each other. And then we had a group of people approach both of us to start a church.
Separately? I mean, did they
Separately.
approach each one of you separately?
Separately.
Okay.
Separately and together. It was a weird thing because
right.
even though we worked together, we were at a mega church. We bumped into each other infrequently.
Okay.
So it was not like we were besties or, had this plan.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because when we planted Sin City Church, a lot of people, they were planning that all along. No, we did not. We had $25 in a Facebook page and 8 people praying, and we were okay with let's start a small group. That's where we were at.
Right.
And then things started going really fast, right? We found a little space, a little teeny school, because there were too many people in the small group. No one's house could hold the people. So we said, okay, we're going to do this. And then we started at 2 p.m. We picked a crazy time.
It's funny. I know another small church in town that was a startup like that as well.
Yeah.
And same thing. It was 2 o'clock, and I always found that
it was the
interesting.
only time available in this space. We had to get a bank account. We did all this, and then here I am thinking, I just took a class, how to lead and manage a nonprofit. That's interesting. Wait a minute. And Rhonda has some similar winks, God winks, leading her that way. So we found this great group of people to just pray us through. We went through some mentoring and coaching through the book of Isaiah. Why plant a church? Why now? Why here? We both went through the Bible in 90 days. The thing that was going to seal the deal was if our husbands were in alignment. And so we just kind of wrestled through, it was the old Moses, no kind of thing for a long time. And then when I turned to my husband and I said, I think I should do this. This was after I went to the Justice Conference in Los Angeles. Rhonda was on a mission trip to Skid Row in Los Angeles.
Wow. I
was at a mission conference. Okay. And Eugene Cho stood up early in this conference, and it felt like he was looking at me. And I had driven down with Mary Gore the whole time, telling her all the reasons why I shouldn't plant a church. I was giving her all the negatives. And I'm sitting there, and it seems like he's looking right at me, and he goes, "Let the women lead."
Wow.
And I literally had a physical, because I
somebody knocked you in the head, right?
I don't want to upset the apple cart.
Yeah.
And I'm not leading because I'm that feminist kind of, no men. Yeah. I'm egalitarian, which is both, side by side. He made them male and female, right? Yes. Together we work together. And so I turned to my husband after this conference and I go, I think we're supposed to plant a church. He goes, well, it's about time. So he knew for a while, but wasn't pushing or doing that. But then I had to think of some things. I wanted to complete my master's, and so you have to look at your calendar. We were also doing our show at the time. We do the show Marriage Can Be Murder. It's our 25th anniversary, so we're in full mode of that. That I don't have time to do all these things. And the gift of time is what you give a church plant. So it was like, okay, schooling, bye-bye. And I was just a few classes away.
Yes.
And, but all the knowledge I received and the education I got from there, I'm using in the church anyways. And it didn't matter to have that anymore. What mattered was taking care of people, helping them understand who Jesus is at a different level. And with our culture being so at war, to help people find peace is the soul care is more important to me. So laughter is important. I've always been that comedian that likes to make people laugh, and that's good for the bones. But the best soul care is to have a relationship with Christ. So all those worlds, the theater world, that communication world, evangelism, being a former Catholic, helping people understand relationship rather than religion, converged in one ball. And it was like, okay, better do it.
And that ball is you as well, though, right?
Right.
It's your,
and for Rhonda and I to lead together, I think it's good to have two. I know most churches have maybe a senior pastor and then an associate, but we're in tandem, which is good. Jesus sent out this 72 2x2, and it's good. Where I'm weak, she's strong, and hopefully vice versa. But we're able to move at a pace that never stops. because there's two of us. One can, if one
Especially in this town.
One is preaching
Yes.
on the week. We do a rotation teaching, which is good because there is, one person forever. That's kind of hard, other than Jesus. So on the weeks I'm preaching, she's visiting sick, and the weeks we're not preaching, we can at least community and do those other kind of jobs that are part of pastoral work. And then when we're preaching, the other can do those things. When we're not preaching, we can do the things. So it's a good rhythm, I think, for our life. Also, as women, wives, mothers, grandmothers, we have a family that we have to take care of as well. And we don't want to have that burnout syndrome that a lot of people do.
Right.
That the credo is no quit Monday. Part of running a church is it's filled with flawed people, and I'm one of them. And you're just helping lead people one step closer to the throne every day. So there are problems and things that happen, but one of the great things, we put some very strict rules in about money, about finances. We have no debt, which is great. We have great people that have surrounded us and lifted us up. I think of the scene where Moses' arms were tired, and he had them lifted up. So we have great people that help us. But we also, there's the sorrow. The reason why I pushed back is people leave. Some of the original people that started, many have passed on to glory, but others left because it wasn't their cup of tea anymore. So you have that sense of loss, but the calling is bigger than that.
It's always a renewal for you then.
Right.
Well.
So that it's 2024, it's our 10th year. I'm excited about the things God is going to do this year. And then I think back, like, what if we didn't start? I mean, just for this year, we had 85 decisions for Christ and 15 baptisms. That wouldn't have happened.
Where would I be?
Where would you be, Steve?
Where would I be?
I don't know. Tell me.
I wouldn't be here. I'll tell you that.
So what has it done in your life?
It's brought me back as someone that grew up in the Assemblies of God, which is a huge charismatic Pentecostal. Charismatic was a bad word. Sorry, that's not a good word either. There's so many things.
Emotional.
Yeah. So growing up in that, I spent much of my work has been in Christian music, actually, as well. So there was a lot of fringe that I was attached to, but I'm back. I'm here every Sunday. I wouldn't be here every Sunday if it wasn't for this. So,
well, what keeps you coming back?
I see. I lost my train of thought when you said something about, you were talking about how we rotations and things like this. To me, what keeps me coming back is I see behind the scenes a little bit that some people don't see, and I realize what you, Rhonda, Tim, Eric, Randy, people do behind the scenes during the weeks, and I see that it's genuine. That's huge, especially for somebody that's been in the CCM industry, the contemporary Christian music industry, and I have watched some of the biggest mega preachers in the world that you've seen on TV. I've been there for their downfall, and it was because they weren't involved in that what's going on behind the scene, what's going on in the week with their flock, their people, all of those things. So that is huge, and people need to realize that.
Well, I think there's something, mega church, superstar pastor, there was this whole thing that kind of muddied the waters. I don't want to be a balcony pastor that waves at the sheep as they go by. I'm on the street, and I think you see that. And with that, there's the authenticity of true faith, living my faith with the people that God has called me to ministry and with.
You see that with people that there's several other ministers that come to the church every now and then. You see them backing that claim up about all of you here in their testimony of what they see. Right. So it's not just you saying that, it's real. That is something people should understand as well.
Well, I mean, there's a good holy fear, right, of wanting to please the Lord, and the relationship with God is more important than all this other stuff, right? But his people, our people together as a community, family of God, are precious. And so what he gives us we have to lead and manage. And so I think because of what we experienced in a setting where it got a little loose, or maybe we got a little jaded, or we looked and went, oh, I was naive. I thought, they were supposed to do this and this, and then you saw it become a position. You saw it become a title rather than a person. And so I'm grateful you see that, Steve, because that is our prayer. We want to stay authentic. We want to stay on the street. We're setting up. We're putting up chairs, and there's no let the peasants do it. It's not like that. It's nothing like that. I'm in this race to win for Christ, but I'm in this race with all y'all. So I want everyone's best. And I'm willing to step down or admit I don't know. And I think that's different,
And we're going to cover a lot of those things. This is just the second episode here. We're going to cover a lot of those things. There's some things we're going to talk about in the future. We're going to talk about your ongoing education.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the books you read. We're going to talk about what you do during the week. We're going to talk about those things. This is just touching the surface. We wanted to get a little bit of your backstory. We're going to get a little bit of Rhonda's backstory. We're going to put those together, and that's going to be the first look from everybody. So please, everyone, stay tuned. It's 2020. Look, it's 2024 already. It's crazy. And this is 10, and there's a lot. This is the 10th year.
10th anniversary.
So there's going to be a lot. I'm going to try to drag some history out that I don't know. So we'll try to get
things
that
I've
in there
forgotten.
as well. Probably, yeah. So you're going to need to get out your diaries and your journals and things like that. All right. Well, thank you very much, Pastor Jayne. We will see you guys out there later.